Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. Oh boy, what a day. What a day. We got rate cuts here. We got rate cuts there. We got a lot of red on the market, but that sign is staying blue. And it's staying blue until the end of the World Series because this is me saying, go Jays, go. So let's hope we can do it. Currently, that series is tied two games each. And earlier in the week, they had an 18-inning game. That's a little crazy, a little long, that's for sure. All right, guys. Oh boy, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Let's not dilly-dally. Let's jump right into the market. Take a look what's going on here. All right, I'm going to pull this out a bit so you can see it. So the TSX today, definitely a pretty deep red day. We are down more than a full percent. We're down 1.08% currently. And oh boy, the blue line, we've almost reached the blue line. And for those of you who do not know what that blue line is, that's a line I add to my charts that shows where we left the last month. So we are technically still in a green month, but not by much. So, oh boy, what a month. Up and down, up and down. Of course, well, we've only got a couple more days left after today, so we'll have to see what's the month going to do by the end of the month. Are we going to get a trick or are we going to get a treat? I don't know. One of the two. Looking south of the border, the S&P 500. They've got a red day. Well, compared to us, it's not as red. They're down 0.18, and they're still well above the blue line. So they're looking good for having a green month, a green October. So they're not going to be fighting like we are here, So what can I say? What can I say? The Nasdaq. Nasdaq is slightly in the green today, up 0.14, and once again, well above that green line. I think I can safely say the Nasdaq has had a green October. So I don't think we're gonna revisit that line within the next 2 days. The Dow Jones having a red day, down 0.28. And oh boy, the little caps, they struggled a bit today. Look at this, down 1.24%. So, oh boy. But so far, everybody's above the line. So we are technically still in a green month for everybody. But the TSX, they're the ones that's got to worry right now because they're the ones who are suffering a little bit. All right, gold is down a little bit today, down 0.36%. Silver doing the opposite. Silver is actually up 1.19%, although when you look at it, it doesn't look so great because the second half of the day has been all downhill for silver. And I added copper. We talk about copper a lot, but copper today is up 1.09%. So not too shabby. Our new commodity, oil also up, WTI up 0.62% on the day. Bitcoin and Ethereum, both of them are in the pooper today. So a little bit of for me, if you're more than 1% down, you're in the pooper. So they're both definitely in the pooper. Bitcoin down 1.96, Ethereum down 1.63. Oh boy, let's take a look at those heat maps. All right. Oh, I better pull this. Oh, I'm gonna pull this thing here off the side. Give us more heat map. Guys, that's the U.S. heat map. How the heck did that happen? And so is that. No problem. Sometimes it just defaults back to the U.S. It's like you think the world revolves around them, but we can change that. There we go. There we go. And yeah. There's so much red there. I feel like saying Merry Christmas. I mean, it's a lot of red. Look at this. Banks right across the board. Royal Bank down a good 1.54. TD Bank down 1.3. BMO's down. Scotiabank's down. Manulife Financial's down. Oh boy. Looking here over in technology is nothing but red for us. So Everything is down. Constellation Software, Topicus.com, you name it. Our retail is down today. Look at this. Alimentation Couche-Tard down 4.83. Loblaws is down. George Weston's down. Dollarama's down. Metro's down. Oh boy. Definitely a red day. Both railroads are down. Celestica. Celestica's doing okay though. I guess it's like our little green patch in the oasis there for Celestica. Also CNQ and oil's actually not doing that bad. And I got a story about oil, but that's going to be after the bell. But CNQ having a pretty good day, up 2.61%. All right, let's peek at the US this time for real. Tech not looking that bad. You've got NVIDIA up 2.90. Google's up 2.59. Palantir is up 4.37. Broadcom is up. Oh boy, AMD is up. GE is up. Here's a company that's kind of a wild card today in the United States. Caterpillar. Look at this. They're up quite a bit today. They're actually up 11.47%. That makes me think they might have had some earnings. Well, let's find out. Let's find out because I'm kind of curious. That's a pretty big jump. Whoops. C-A-T, cat. C-A-T, cat. There we go. Bang, boom. All right, let's take a look and see what the heck's going on with Caterpillar. Yup. Just as I thought, earnings. Look at this. So they had earnings today. They beat on their earnings by 9.22, and they beat on their revenue by 5.16. So yeah, if you like the backhoe, it dug up some gold today. It dug up some gold for sure. All right, and just back here. As you can see, Tesla up a tiny bit, but a lot of red through finance, health, consumer, both consumer non-discretionary as well as consumer staples. A little bit of red for sure. Over in crypto. Hello, there they are. I'm like, where are they? It's like we're taking our time. We got a lot of red in the crypto market. So you can see Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, all in the red. And as is customary, we're going to pick a green altcoin. I often refer to them as crap coins because these guys can be risky, like going in and playing craps. The odds are not in your favor usually. Oh, look, here's a little one here. Let's grab this one. Mysterium. This feels like it should be on the periodic table of the elements, but if it is, nobody knows where it's at because it's a Mysterium. So yeah, I don't know what Mysterium is, but it's doing okay today, I guess. It is worth 17.5 cents. So this could be related to a game. Could be related to, I don't know what it's related to, but it could be a game maybe. These are risky. These are very, very risky. You're better off in crypto world. You're better off sticking to the big boys, sticking to your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your XRPs, and gosh, even the Dogecoin, and maybe not the Mysterium. This could be the cousin to Mysterio, that villain in Spider-Man. So this is, yeah, maybe his cousin. I don't know. I don't know. All right, guys. Let's jump back to the big view and hit up the chat. We got about 7 minutes to the bell. Jonathan is in the house first. Surprise, surprise. Let's see. Am I late for a little interest snip? No. In fact, we got it snipped from both ends today. So Canada and the United States. Cowboy in the house with the greetings all. And we got Gursky saying hello. Oh, that's me putting up a pinned message. Gursky, once again, I bought some TELUS today. Oh, getting into the communications a little bit. Not too bad. Let's see. Claude says hello. Lots of little red dots today. Yes, there's a lot of red today for sure. Hopefully we can get a little bit more sanity towards the end of the week, but hard to say. Cowboy says, Tellus has been good for me. And Gursky says, me too, Cowboy. I like buying Tellus when it's under 21. And it was $20.50 today. Yeah, that's probably not a bad entry point after all. I mean, I do expect Tellus, Rogers, and Bell to actually have 2026 should be a much better year for them than 2025. And the big reason for that is most of their deployment of cash towards 5G, most of that should be completed. So they should have a little bit more cash flow, which tends to make things a little bit better. And plus, I think they're starting to develop plans on how they can expand. And let me tell you, it's not expanding in Canada. It's expanding in other markets, some of it in Canada, but other avenues. So you like TSN, for example, Rogers has been getting really, really expansive in sports. Telus and Bell have both been looking at data centers as another way of diversifying their cash flow. Well, their cash flow. There we go. Rory says, afternoon, bought HYLD, Canoe, and CPKC. There we go. Three staples. All stocks I like, for sure. And I think Gursky likes them as well. So nice, Rory. Let's see. ADCO Y made a big jump today. ADCO, let's take a look. I'm kind of curious. Let's see here. ADCO, here we go. And you're saying ADCO Y made the big jump. All right, so that is, those are their limited class 2 shares. Okay. They're also pretty new, so I'm not sure what went on there. It could be something internal that caused it to happen. I honestly don't know. I don't know at all. Rory says, a beautiful dip on CP, so I got some. Yeah, doesn't hurt. I mean, I've been buying, at least for CN, I've been buying them on the dip a few times this year. So I do like getting those opportunities for sure. And Roy says, we'll add more HYLD on X, which is Friday. Nice. Cowboy, I can't buy till next month. Been reinvesting dividends, all spent now. Yeah. You know what happens once you've spent all of your viable capital, then we get another dip. It's like the Murphy's Law of investing. It's like, hey, spend up those dividends so that we can correct the market a little bit when you don't have the money to take advantage of it. Rory says, let's see, same. I have to hold back money. Did enough already. Fantastic. Cowboy, have a Scotiabank and IPO divs arriving. Maybe squeak in one more buy. Nice. And Paul is in the house with a hello. Politicians, what did you think about bank? Up or down? I like bank. Now I'm talking the Evolve ETF bank. I like them. They've been very solid for me, for sure. So I'm still a fan. And even if we do get some correction in the banks, bank will go down in that case. But I think their dividend, that's not a bad thing for the premiums that they have on that account. So I do like it. Bank at 903. HBTE down on my list. I mean, if Bitcoin retraces and Bitcoin's having a red day, as we saw, you're going to see some retracement on HBTE. Absolutely. But nonetheless, I still really, really, really love my HBTE. Jim says, I was red all day. Then about an hour ago, I got green, but it turned out to be a rug pull right off a cliff. Oh, Jim. For some reason, when you said that, I pictured the coyote running with an anvil off of the cliff, and sort of standing there for a minute, wait until he realized he had nothing beneath him. Mary is in the house with a hello, and Mary's our official captain of the like button. So if you've not yet hit that like button, slam it now, turn it blue. Since you guys are going to be busy hitting that like button, means I get to actually enjoy some coffee. Oh gosh, that's so good. All right, Paul, let's see. A negative 0.16 day so far. The Tesla and Harvest TLSY have been hanging above and below the zero line. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's really not a good day on the market, I think, for most of us, that's for sure. Rory, when it hit 300 points, I knew limit orders got filled. Oh, guys, it's time. I was almost late. All right, there's the bell. Market's closed. Oh boy. I was technically I was 16 seconds late. Technically. Because I got distracted again. All right, before we go any further, so the channel members know this. Yesterday I was doing my thing. Actually, I was doing my thing, and along came a news story, and the news story was Israel prepares massive strike against Gaza. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, ooh, the ceasefire broke. So I immediately, and this is kind of one of these things, if there's big tensions in the Middle East, most times you will usually run into a big run up of oil right after that. So I immediately, without having any time to really think, I just immediately jumped on XEQ, sorry, XEG. I immediately jumped on XEG. I went in, bought a big chunk of it, and in case it happened, but it didn't. In fact, it kind of hung around the price I bought it at most of the rest of the day yesterday. I did let it ride overnight, and then this morning, I checked it this morning, and it was up a tiny bit, a tiny bit. So I sold out of it at that point. It's just like, okay, it frees up, because it frees up that money. It's kind of this lesson, and that sometimes things aren't going to work out. Sometimes you're going to, you'll pull the trigger on something that you think should work. And I really thought that should work, but it didn't. So I ended up, at the end of the day, I ended up with a $25 profit on a trade. But had things really gotten out of control in the Middle East and I jumped on that as early as I did, I could have made a lot of money. So that's kind of a lesson, kind of a swing trading lesson, and it happens. And I'm not really concerned about it, but I thought it was a good teachable moment. I thought it was a pretty good teachable moment for sure. And it happens. Just you don't beat yourself up about it. You just wait for the next opportunity. Maybe the next one actually goes to the moon for you. Sammer is in the house with a hello. All right, Paul says HHIS.U up 0.5. My whole 6 shares bought with leftover USD a few days ago. And Cowboy says cat is up because the States is building. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a thing, and that's what we should be seeing here. Like, let's start breaking ground, guys. Once we start actually building this infrastructure that's been promised to us, we're going to see companies like Bird Construction, for example. They're going to really start pumping. Now, Bird did have a few really good good moments so far this year, but I think the best is still yet to come. Cece, what's the prevailing opinion regarding banks being the largest Canadian stocks? Are banks, are they the largest? Well, they're pretty large. I think Shopify might be up there too, but our banks are definitely pretty large. And Canadian banks, no matter what you say about them, I mean, as most people, I think most people in Canada is like, the banks. But investment wise, they've always been a solid investment. They can weather pretty much anything. They're kind of, the way they're structured is there's a lot of resilience built right into them. So yeah, I think the banks are always a safe bet. If you didn't have gold to go to when the markets look like when you were looking for a safe haven, I would almost consider the banks a bit of a safe haven. And I know you'll get some people who come along and say, oh yeah, the banks, that's fiat money. That's all going to crash. Not anytime soon, guys. Not anytime soon. I think the banks are still very safe. Politicians. Bank of Canada declares lower standard of living incoming for most Canadians. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. When you look at inflation and when you look at the wages are not even remotely as close. They're not even keeping pace with inflation. So already, I think almost every Canadian has probably, if you look at what you can buy today and what you can afford today, compare that to 2019 before the pandemic. It's I think it's already night and day for a lot of people. So yeah, that it's already here. It's already here. Larry is in the house. Let's see, another hard day bought a DJCO for 375 yesterday, sold for 423 today, easy 48K. Nice, nice. Now, guys, and this is the thing. This is kind of one secret to swing trading. If you've got the funds, so if you've got a lot of money that you can use, you can really rack up. Yeah, and you don't even need stocks to jump up a lot, but you can rack up a lot of money. But at the same time, you are also risking a lot too, because if things go south instead of north, you could also be losing a lot of money. But if you're, and this is what I always say, if you are swinging on solid fundamentally solid companies, and you can let it ride for as long as it needs to, you're safe. You're going to make money. But just keep in mind that you want to be, you don't want to get to the point, like let's say you had $200,000. You don't want to get to a point where you've got a whole bunch of companies that are deep in the red, that are all fundamentally sound, and you've got nothing to play with. So, when you kind of have to pick and choose your winners and your losers. So sometimes you will have to lose. It will happen. Kind of like today, like that story I told you. Yes, I got a $25 profit, so that's not a bad loss, but it's still technically a loss. I didn't get to my target, but I didn't want that money tied up. I did not want that money tied up. So the fact that I only took a $25 profit, yeah, that's not a bad thing at all. All right, JJ is in the house. Another rate cut. Yum, nice. Cowboy says the Bank of Canada is clueless. Standard of living has been tanked for 10 years. Yeah, I mean, if you go back in time, let's go back to the 70s. Now, some of you were around in the 70s, some of you weren't. But in the 70s, 70s and before the 70s as well, 60s, 50s, all of that, you could have the nuclear family. You could have it where, dad goes off to the office, makes enough money to buy a car, to buy a house, and mom has the luxury of being able to stay home and raise kids. Or maybe mom was at the office and dad was raising kids, although honestly, you didn't see that much of that version of it in the 70s. But definitely probably more today. But you could have a one-income household and be perfectly fine and have everything and have your car, your house, your vacations. Today, unless you've got a super job, that's not really that realistic anymore. I mean, the cost of living has gone up. Inflation is always creeping up, and it's always been creeping up a little more than the wages. Nowadays, it's even hard now to have all of the things you could have on a single salary in the 70s. It's hard to even pull that off on a dual salary today. So yeah, you are right. The standard of living has been tanked in Canada for a very, very long time. A politician says the fact that they finally admitted it indicates a greater drop even. All right, and then Larry says, oh, did you listen to the Trump, Japan, and Korea speeches? There are opportunities, very big ones, if you listen closely. I did not listen to those speeches. So now I'm kind of curious. Yeah, and that is true. Sometimes, and this is something I've noticed, and this is almost like we're going down the rabbit hole, guys, but that's fine. Sometimes Trump will give you hints of some of the things he's about to do that will either tank or send the market flying off in a certain direction. And if you can decipher it, and figure out what he's up to, you can make money. You can make money because he often tells people what he's going to do before he does it. And a lot of times people kind of dismiss what he says. It's like, oh, he's not really going to do that. But yeah, he can sometimes be a little surprising for sure. Kev B says, hey, hi, Kev, how are you? Let's see. Japan will be rearmed and Trump approved Apple's nuclear power plant, but that's not the real news. Interesting. This is interesting. I'll tell you why this is interesting. All right. So yeah, Japan will be rearmed. He wants. I know that he also was talking about all of the military weapons being the best out of the U.S. And I think that's what he wants to do is these countries that are rearming. I think he wants to be rearming them, like the United States rearming them. And that's a lot of money going into places like Palantir, obviously. But the whole nuclear thing, and this is what's really, really interesting. So earlier this week, it came out, and you guys probably saw this big, giant leap by Cameco. Well, that was because we had Cameco and Brookfield have joined forces for a nuclear project that is being sponsored apparently, I think, by the U.S. government. So that's really kind of an interesting thing. And obviously, it's helped Cameco big time. And I think it's going to be good for both Cameco. I think it'll be good for Brookfield as well. But it's also good for uranium in general. So there's definitely stuff going on. Absolutely. Kev B says, Amazon had massive layoffs. Have you heard anything if they have a bunch of shares and sell it might go on sale for a bit? Um, uh, yeah, I heard about some of the massive layoffs. And I mean, a lot of what's been happening with Amazon too is that some of these layoffs are leading to them being able to bring in more and more automation, more and more AI. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that all ends up shaking out. But yeah, I think a lot of countries are going to well, let's not go say countries. Let's say companies. I think a lot of companies will use that as their way. It's like, let's lay off people, replace their jobs with AI, and it's going to happen. It's going to be a trend. It will be a normal. It'll become very normal for that to happen. JJ says, I bought nothing today. Gonna see what happens tomorrow. Okay, fair enough. Claude, you sold your Celestica position. So yesterday I sold my Celestica position with great profit and saw Cameco going crazy after the US deal. What was a great day. Yep. And I will tell you guys, I mean, how long have I been preaching the Cameco? How long have I been standing on my little box going, look at Cameco, look at Cameco. A long time. So I'm hoping some of you, I hope some of you did your own due diligence and came to that same conclusion and maybe got in on Cameco and maybe had a happy day like Claude had. So that's what I'm hoping. Hugh Gamillo says, with markets at all-time high, is it okay to open an RESP for my kid? With VFV and XEQT 30 and 70% respectively. Yeah, so an RESP, obviously the sooner you open up the Retired Education Savings Plan, the more you can get some of that government matching, because that's kind of that thing. You can get, the government will give you grants in that to sort of help towards your child's education. And yeah, with it, yeah, something like like a VFV, XEQT, those are great options for sure. Because even if we go into a bear market down the road, unless your kids are going to be going to university like in the next next 1 to 2 years, that you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So the longer that runway, yeah, if you have a long runway, VFV I think is fantastic. XEQT, or any of the variations. Like there's a whole bunch of different S&P 500 passive income. Yeah, there's a lot that you can do. There's definitely a lot you can do, but I like both of those. Paul, Harvest TEHE TELUS high yield ETF has a yield of 13.5% for the person who bought TELUS. Okay, interesting. TEHE. That's it. That is interesting. Makes me want to look. Whoops. Let's go to this one instead. So you said it's called HEHE. All right, let's take a gander at this. HEHE. And of course I don't have it. Of course I don't have it. So TEHE. Never mind. So TEHE. All right, that helps. That's kind of a different thing here. So Harvest TELUS. Okay. Oh, right there we go. It's one of the Harvest ones. Yeah. Let's take a gander here. All right, and yeah, I do like. I do like it. So this, of course, you're going to get exposure to this within HHIC, but yeah, look at this. It's not doing too bad. 13.163%, 12% dividend. So yeah, absolutely. Now the only thing I worry about is I think now when we look at TELUS right now, well, I guess we can't. We're not looking at TELUS. We're looking at this one here. As you can see, it's been all the way down, but so have the telecoms. So right now, there's a good amount of volatility in the telecoms. That's why this fund can pay a good amount of, well, they can charge a good premiums. The premiums are going to be pretty high. Eventually, I think this is going to be one of these situations where if they stabilize somewhere down the road, we could see this dividend drop. But right now, yeah, it's still a pretty good deal. Definitely a pretty good deal. And JJ is also confirming VFE, VFE and XEQT being a pretty good idea as well. So Jim is saying neep neep. Neep neep. Let's see. Paul says ended the day plus 0.03. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Let's see here. Relaxing Rains. Sold my 20 Palantir yesterday. Missed out on $200. Still up from 26 baht. Yeah. And that's going to happen, guys. You're going to sell things and it's going to continue to go up and you're going to be like, I could have had more. But, you know, who cares? You'll get more on the next one. If you're taking profits off the table, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. A lot of people take losses off the table. So considering that you're taking profits, you're way ahead of the game for sure. Paul, woohoo, hit the next 1K level and a local all-time high in the RRSP. Nice. Yeah, Paul has been doing some pretty good trading in the RRSP for sure. Roku says, hi all, I have no money to buy anything. Yeah, that's never fun. Never fun. Cowboy, my internet keeps crashing. Very frustrating. Yeah, absolutely. Clear the cache, says Rory. Cowboy, it's Explorer. They are off more than on. All right. And Paul, there was a news article about a homeowner in Richmond, BC, part of the First Nations land court decision. Their bank says they will not renew the mortgage. Oh, yeah, that's never a good thing. Yeah, I mean, what do you do if your bank says we're not going to renew your mortgage? So you're not left with a lot of images, a lot of options. You got to find somebody else to take on that mortgage, because if you don't, well, what does that mean for your house? Well, it means that the bank will probably foreclose on you. So you don't want that. So and the worst part of that is that if you do find somebody else, you're probably going to end up with a higher interest rate. And that's never good. That's never good. So yeah, I don't like to hear stuff like that at all. Jim says, investing has a lot of he said, she said, like BNN will have one person painting doom and gloom. Then a few hours later, the other person just tell you how good it looks. Yeah, absolutely. YouTube is like that too. If you ever, oh my God, if you go back to before the last crypto winter, when crypto was reaching some of those new all-time highs back in early 2001 and mid 2001, almost up to the end of 2001, you could quite literally, I could go on my feed and I could see one person telling me why Bitcoin is going to zero and why they're selling everything and why I should be selling everything. And then the next video could be Bitcoin's going to 100,000. You should be selling your house and buying Bitcoin. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, it's like from one video to the next. And if you're not good at handling your emotions, boy, that can certainly be a thing. So you gotta take, I'm gonna say everything. Nowadays, everything, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. You come in, listen to what that YouTuber says or listen to what that newscaster says, and, you could research what they said and see if it holds a lot of weight, but you got to realize a lot of times it comes down to ratings. It comes down to eyeballs on the screen. So if you take YouTube, some of those, and this happens a lot more in the US YouTubers, but they will paint the doomiest, gloomiest title and thumbnail that you can have. Well, heck, I've picked on Meet Kevin a few times. Let's pick on him again. How many times in the last year have you seen World War III on his thumbnail or in his title? I will tell you this: I cannot count it on one hand. I can't even count it on two hands. So that's what gets the clicks. And that's what a lot of people do. And when you look at news broadcasting, it's the same thing. Like, that headline, any newspaper, any news column, that headline is the most important thing because that is going to determine whether or not you click. If you see some sensational headline, that may draw you in. They'll get you as a viewer, they'll get you as a reader. But, oh boy, a lot of times after you've read it, it never really even went back to, the title at all. And, it's 100% clickbait. But a lot of times people forget, or they're just so used to it now that they don't hold people responsible. Now, I personally, I don't mind. I will throw a clickbait title at you, but I had better deliver on it because otherwise I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, I think they call that level 1 clickbait, where you at least give them what you're clickbaiting them with. If you don't, well, that to me, I don't, I don't want to throw out the F word. And guys, get your head out of the gutter. I'm talking fraud. But yeah, to me, it's a little fraudulent if you promise me something in the title and you don't even remotely come close to delivering. I mean, even if you promise me something and then you address it in the video and say, yeah, but this is what a lot of people think, but it's not possible. Oh, it's like, okay, fine. You at least got back to it, and I'm satisfied. But anyway, I could go on a rant. All right, Paul says standard of living now is more pay attention how much money in account, no carefree spending. Yeah, discretionary spending. That's down big time. It's down big time. You just can't, you just can't spend money the way you used to on like frivolous things. It's it's a little bit tough, but at the same time, it'll be interesting. If we ever go back to good times, it'll be the point that your kids or maybe your grandkids will be like, what? Why are you so frugal? Because for them, it may be a time of abundance. But right now, the way it's going, I keep thinking it'll be even worse than we have it right now. So what can I say? Rory, BNN got to have the bear case and the bull case guests to spew their narrative. Yeah, and that's debating. So I don't know if you guys, any of you did debating, like when you were younger, high school or something like that. I used to be on the debate team, but yeah, with a debate, you want to bring people in from both sides, and then have them debate it out, and then the viewer basically decides which side holds the most water per se. But what can I say? Vic says interest rate 2.25. Like rate 50%. Come on, folks. Okay. Oh, I see it. Yeah, our interest rate is 2.25. The like rate. So that means only half of you have clicked that like button. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have some coffee. Please, click that like button. Let's see. Rory said, watching the US Fed decision, all I heard was blah, blah, blah. So in other words, it was like watching politics. Cowboy, an 81 check covered all my expenses. The other was for whatever. That's true. That is true. I will tell you, in the 80s, well, not so much the 80s. I'm going to say the 90s because, the 80s I was in school. But in the 90s, yeah, I mean, you had 2 paychecks a month. So normally I would pay, this is how I would do it. I would pay, rent would be from my first paycheck, and then any other bills would come out of my second paycheck. And whatever's left over, I could spend. And then, usually once or twice a year, you get that 3 paycheck month. Oh boy! That third paycheck, that's when you buy something big. You buy something big. Now, obviously, if the me of now could go back to the me of then, it would be like I would hit myself against the back of the head and said, invest it, you stupid idiot. That's what I would say. I'm being mean to myself, but that's fine. I would just, invest it. Don't go buy something stupid. I don't know if the me back then would listen to me, so who knows? Jim, my home was single income family, so just about every family I knew, every few families had both parents working. Okay, interesting. All right, Vic says, thoughts on Fiserv, okay, ticker FI in the USA. Wanted to buy at 66, but jumped back up real quick. Let's take a look. Oh, I am still here. All right. I thought I was large. Don't ask me why. I thought I was large screen. All right, FI, and this is on the US market. Well, here we are. There's only one FI. All right, let's take a look here. What am I seeing this right here? Yeah. What the banana bread? This is a big drop. So they dropped from what were they at? 125 down to 70. Vic, I'm glad you didn't buy. Now I'm trying to. Now you said that you bought at 66, but jumped back up real quick. Let's go further back. I'm looking on the 5-day. I'm gonna head over to the 1 year. No. I'm seeing. Yeah, they've been going down for a while. What's going on here? Obviously, this is a brand new company for me. I've never heard of them before. So I'm going to just come over here and see if we can find out, was this an earnings situation? So here's FI. Let's pull it up. Here we go. And it was. Oh boy, was it ever. Let's see here. So yeah, they missed. They missed on their earnings. They missed by 22.84%. On their revenue, they missed by 7.98%. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. So, but here's a thing. I'll say one thing about a jump like this. I usually like to go back in and take a gander here at their back end, a little bit of their fundamentals, because I'm kind of curious here. And let's see here. Okay, so they got 118% debt to equity ratio, return on equity 12.66. I'd like that to be a little higher because sometimes, and I don't know if these fundamentals would support it, but sometimes a jump like this, if they got strong fundamentals, I will sometimes buy because it would be a bit of a swing opportunity, because even if they only make it halfway back up, that's quite the swing. That's quite the swing for sure. This is an interesting one. I mean, their fundamentals, they're okay, but they're not super. Could they make it halfway back up? Maybe, but at the same time, oh boy. Yeah, I mean, investors are just, This one's a little bit of an interesting one. But the other problem too is because when you're dealing with something that's $70, right? If you want to make a sizable amount with it jumping back up, you got to put a good amount in, and that might be a little risky with this one. I would certainly want to do a bit more digging before I would even be willing to jump into that one. But what can I say? All right, Vic says Constellation Software at 34.53. Uh-oh. Yeah, so Constellation Software, I mean, they at one point were challenging. They were almost up to 5,000. Let's pull them up here. CSU. And yeah, they have been struggling. They're down another, what, almost 8% today. So, yikes. I'm going to pull up their 3-year. But look at this, guys. Well, they actually did hit 5,000. They made it all the way up to 51.22, but they have been steadily decreasing on their way back down. Not good, not good. And I know I recently did a deep dive on them, and there's a few things going on here. One, there may be their CEO is stepping down, and that's not helping. There's also a lot of people worried about AI and how AI could replace some of the services that they provide. I think that AI will actually be a good thing for them, but yeah, right now, whoa, this is not a. It's not a bad entry point if you're looking to get in, because I think they'll do better. I think they will do better, but oh boy, yeah, it's it is tough. Chad jumped ship. Chad jumped ship. Sold my CSU. Oh boy. Jack. Wow. Google really touched 296 after hours. Let's go. You gotta love it. I love watching after hours movement for sure. Hura ETF up 10% today. Nice. Uranium. You got to like the uranium. And here's Chad. Oh, wait till 2030. Uranium going to be through the roof. And Chad's right. Oh my gosh, I love those emotes. At first, my first glance, I thought they were pumpkins, but now it's like, nope, those are radiation symbols. Absolutely. Fantastic. And guys, feel free to flood the chat with emotes. I like emotes. I do. So nothing wrong with that. Cowboy, also here, small nuke power plants are Brookfield Westinghouse. Yeah, so the SMRs, they're going to be big. They are going to be big. I mean, these here are nuclear reactors that you can build fast, and you can move them where you need them. I think they're going to be huge, and you know, that's not a bad thing for Canada, because we're kind of like we're the pioneers on this one. Yeah, and I know I remember reading about Poland. I think Poland was getting Canada to help them with some nuclear reactors too, and I think they were thinking about SMRs for that one too. But definitely love it. Love the nuclear reactors. Amrit, with the rate cut news, it has also hinted we are essentially at the bottom. The bond rates went up, and chances that fixed rates will increase. So yeah, so this rate cut. We had, of course, our last CPI cut showed inflation going back up. Bank of Canada not happy with that, but this one here is more or less. This was more or less not for inflation. It was more or less for the economy to try to help fix that a little bit. But I have a feeling we're not going to see another one this year. I think this is it for the year. So we're, for all intents and purposes, we're at the bottom for now. For now, unless things change drastically. But yeah, absolutely. Chad, True Cowboy, $80 billion deal. Oh, the chat disconnected. Well, welcome back. Let's see. Larry says Trump announced, regular power plants for AI chips or anything else immediate approval, nuclear 3-week approval, all new factories, 100% tax cut, but there's even more. Yeah. And this is the thing, guys, I've been on the nuclear train for a while. It's gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna make a lot of money. I don't know how to say it any other way. All right. Kev says can't hang around, still at work. I'll catch the end later. Thanks. All right, no worries, no worries. Ontario building 3 reactors. They are. They are. Let's see. CC, Bitcoin down, bumping around 110 resistance, yet FOMC S&P dip wasn't as bad as previous 3 decisions. Bitcoin's going to be fine. Like I still think, I think we'll be back above 115. I thought maybe this week, but I think definitely by next week. Chad thought they were building 4. Let's see. Will the Ontario reactors charge up the Blue Jays? The Blue Jays are fine. They've tied it. So we're getting one more game in Toronto. No, the Jays are fine. The Jays are fine. All I would like to see is I would really like to see them win tonight. It would be fantastic to be coming back 3-2 in the Blue Jays' favor. And then they just have to win one of the last 2, and that would be easy. So yeah, I think tonight's a big game. If LA wins tonight, it's going to be tough. It's not the Jays can do it though. I mean, they came back from 3-2 with with the Yankees. Was it the Yankees? No, not the Yankees. Whoever they played last. So they can do it. They can do it. Seattle, sorry. Chad says maybe read 3 the other week. Michelle says, let's see. Still curious what you think of the new Global X CHQQ. All right, so CHQQ. And I thought I replied. I thought I replied. Maybe it was somebody else asking me it, but I thought I replied in the comments on that. I like it. So CHQQ, guys, and let me pull it up. This here is going to give you access to basically Chinese tech. CCHQ. Here we go. No, they're still not. They still don't have it. They still don't have it here, but that's fine. Oh, wait a minute. Because I misspelled it. CHQQ. Here we go. Here we go. So here we go. Yeah, so this is your Global X China Hang Seng Tech Index ETF. I probably mispronounced Hang Seng or Hang Seng, something like that. So yeah, I mean, the United States is, of course, they're kind of the leaders in tech, but China's pretty darn good too. And this is not a bad thing to gain exposure because a lot of times, if you think about it, most of our tech exposure is pretty much coming from the United States. This is your chance to go a little more global, and I think China is not a bad bet. So do I like it? Yes. Would I invest in it? Yes. Are you going to make a lot of money on it? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, I think it still will be solid. It may not have the full potential that the Nasdaq has, but I think it has. I still think it's going to do pretty darn good. I don't know what the distributions are on this one, or if there are distributions, but I think it's a good long-term play for sure. Because Chinese tech, it's nothing to balk at, that's for sure. Balk. They did that last night in the game. They balked somebody to get them off of second so they could stop reading their signs. So Amrit says, NVHE is doing well. NVIDIA has some talks with China that let it take a nice climb. Was debating on selling and out in HHIS or maybe hold on and see if NVIDIA continues to climb. Well, I'm a big fan of NVIDIA, so I think either of those options are not bad options. Obviously, HHIS, you've got all of the extra diversity there because you've got all the extra companies. That sort of will help. That helps, but yeah, I still think NVIDIA is going to make some more surges. I think they're not done yet. All right. Vic says, not another 18 innings. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Vic said, I got some CHQQ. Nice. Bought HRL today. Come on, snackers. Eat some of their junk food during the Jays. Yep. Absolutely, guys. And yeah, how many of you guys are planning on watching the game? I'll be doing some stuff up here. Like I just have a guy who's on YouTube who it doesn't actually show the game, but it shows kind of like a oh, what's the word? It's like a digital recreation of the game live. It's kind of weird, and then he commentates it. But that's enough. That's enough for me. I don't have to actually see. That's one of the downsides of not having a television. Well, I mean, I have a television, but I mean, without having cable or any of that stuff. Amrit, the MSTE dividend cut sucks, but I guess for now it's not terrible, but still sucks and kind of feel like there's another cut coming as well. We'll just have to stay for the ride. Yeah. Um, yeah, absolutely. I can understand why that wouldn't, it never feels good to get a dividend cut. But keep in mind, when you're dealing with covered call ETFs, if the underlying volatility goes down, they simply can't charge the same for the premiums. So that will cause that'll cause a dividend cut. It doesn't always mean that there's anything wrong with the fund. It just means that there's, well, in some cases, the funds just became a little bit less volatile. Michelle, Vic, do you think it'll pay over a year with a nice dividend? I would love to get into that market. and I love this. Vic's response: I'm just internet dummy truck driver, no stock expert, just having some fun with a bit of money. All right, there we go. I love the brutality of the honesty. It's fantastic. Paul, let's see. Now I know why I stopped investing in TELUS after I retired. TELUS 1 mil minus 6.14 versus TEHE 1 mil minus 3.55. So the cover call did soften the blow if dripped. Yeah, well, it can definitely do that for sure. Amrit, got a call from Pine, which is a lender that works with Wealthsimple. Anyone have any experience with Pine? I don't. They're the ones, they're handling the mortgages of I believe. Meet Kevin sold his Tesla shares early before it went back up. I love that. Yeah, he's good at what he does. Entertains. Jim says YouTube has a lot of clickbaits. Canadian oil and gas is a target for that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. In Motley Fool is another I avoid listening to. Yeah, they're the worst. I not a fan of the Motley Fool at all. They're also a company that if they ever tried to put an ad, if they ever wanted to put an ad on my channel, I'd be like, nope, nope. Amy with Motley is the worst. Let's see. I find you spend money on frivolous things. You just fill up your home with crap. Yeah, for the same things. Yeah, who needs to eat? Let's see. Jay says 40 years from now, the Burger King patty will be tofu with beef essence flavor. It probably won't even be tofu. It might be something even completely different. They're getting to the point that they can grow meat. They can grow meat in the lab. So, it'll be interesting to see how that comes. I would rather have meat grown in the lab than bugs, the bugs, for sure. And the bugs are good protein, but yeah, no, I don't want them. Rory, nope, it will be crickets and maple bug patties. Oh gosh. Jim says, what happened to get Smokes a 6-pack and gas for $20? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how much smokes cost. Being a non-smoker, it's like, no idea. I just assumed $20 a pack. I don't know. That's a guess. I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, maple bugs rank this year. If I could go back, I would tell myself to buy gold at least. Yeah, absolutely. And, both me and Rory, we missed the gold wagon. Gursky, I'm hoping to buy some MSTE on Friday. I wonder if it will go under $10. All right. Hi, Clarice. Hi, all. Who's Clarice? It's like, are the lambs smiling at you, Clarice? I don't know. I don't know the line, but anyway. Palantir has some Lumen stock with it. What do you think of that one to invest? I think Palantir is going to do well. Especially with all of the slanting towards defense, and with Trump pushing it, with the U.S. pushing it, with the whole NATO Target's going up. Yeah, I definitely think Palantir's, it's a good long-term hold for sure. Chat says, a gold bull case by 2030, 10K ounce, never too late for gold now. Wealthsimple have 24-hour gold trading and can cash out the physical gold by this year end instead of fate. That's, yeah, that's not a bad thing. I have not yet bought any gold on Wealthsimple. I kind of want to, though. Jay, I was in a FOMO today and put some money to Estee, but really I'm gambling with Wealthsimple giveaway contest. Oh, does Wealthsimple have a new giveaway contest? I have to look into that. I thought I saw one the other day in my email, but I thought it had to do with the mortgages. Maybe I misread it, or I didn't read it at all. I just assumed. Chat, I want rates to go back up so I can get 5% on cash or T-cash. Yeah, that would be nice. Cece, I prefer my nuke reactors to be built slowly and carefully. You don't like the quickies? It's like, yeah, like I said, here's a quick reactor built by IKEA. Trust me, it'll work if you follow the instructions right. Let's see. Plus, China and UK have nuclear batteries. Nice. Datilov, raise the power. CC is being done because of the third Yunge announcement in speeches, which is where I bought 30K shares in one company and 100K in another. Oh, Larry, you are... you're sort of like Tom Hanks in that movie, where you're putting the clues together, all of that fun stuff. All right, Cowboy, portable nukes sound scary to me. Well, keep in mind, they're portable nuclear reactors. I'm not afraid of them. I understand the technology, and I really don't think there's anything to fear. Michelle says, thanks. I think China will take over tech in the next 10 years. Well, here, let me give you one idea here, though, Cowboy. I'm sorry. I know, Mike. I know, Michelle. If you have SMRs, and let's say, for example, there's a tsunami warning. Well, if you've got a team together, you could probably get those SMRs and get them up and hopefully get them up and mobile. I don't know how fast you could get them mobile, but it would be great if you could, or if there was a hurricane coming. Well, that's probably a more realistic one because you've got a little bit of lead time. But yeah, I think I like the whole concept. I like the concept. Gotta go. We'll watch later. All right, no problem. No problem. Hey, Claire, who the hell? My name is Candace, by the way. But anyway, if it's a couple people calling me Clarice today, it's like all I can think of is I always hear Hannibal Lecter's voice. Why are the lambs crying or whatever, or silent? I don't know. Anyway, Vincent says, love your channel. Any chance you could do a video on building a full growth portfolio for a 40-year-old who wants to retire in 20 years? Yes, there is. I got a lot of different things planned for the next year. More of the Windfall series. I want to actually do a stock version of the Windfall series. And one of those would probably be that exact portfolio that you're thinking of right there. So yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff that I've got planned coming up in the new year. 2026, we're gonna rock. We're gonna rock this place for sure. Let's see, Cowboy. Here we go. Oops, right here. Cowboy, hope they don't do the DEI hiring at those new plants. Would prefer actual qualified people in the control room, not another Chernobyl. Yeah, for sure. I believe people should get a fair shot at jobs, but I want to throw in that word. I believe qualified people. Like, I don't care if you're, white, black, pink, gay, straight. I honestly don't care. But if you got the qualifications to do the job, I'm okay with it. You could be a furry. And as long as you got the qualifications and you're doing a great job, I'm fine. But I would not I would not want to ever be in a situation where I give an unqualified person an important job who's not, just to hit some kind of quota. So yeah, you know, I'm okay with that. I believe in diversity. I believe in inclusion, but that needs to be qualified diversity and qualified inclusion. So yeah, qualified. That's what I think is the important part. Other than that, as long as you're qualified, I don't care. But if you're not qualified, I do. And Vincent, cheers from La Belle Province. Very cool. Yes. I'm actually not that far away from La Belle Province because I'm actually broadcasting right now out of Ottawa. So as you know, I'm a hop, skip, and a jump from Gatineau. So, and I love, Quebec's awesome. I mean, Quebec's a great province for sure. Cowboy, organic lab steaks. You see, that's where they're going. That's where they're going. Emrit. Yes, I was wondering if anyone had any experience with Pine Mortgages. Wealthsimple has some partnership with them and gave a little rebate, I believe. Just wondering if anyone with Pine thoughts. And I have no experience, but if anybody has experience, please let Amrit know. All right, let's see here. And because I'm behind, guys, I am jumping over comments that are to other people. CC, average dividend has dropped every year since Reagan. The slope is sharp. Let's see. Hey, love your channel. Any chances you could do a video? Hey, I just read this one. I already read this one. Like I said, yeah, you're going to see stuff like that. You will see some content in that. Oh my God, I am caught up. I can't believe it. Vic said made some money on BYND meme saga. Nice. I tend to avoid anything meme-ish, but you can make money on them. All right, guys, we're almost at the end. If you got your last minute questions, get them on in. Get them on in. We'll hit them up. I'm gonna have some coffee while you guys are typing away. And actually, holy banana bread! You know what? I've been small for too long. Let's go big. Let's see here. People still smoke. Yeah, I think so. I think some people. I don't know what the statistics are, but I know when I was a kid, I think the amount of people who smoked compared to people who didn't, um, I I think it was probably like 75% of the population was smokers. That's what I think. That's what it felt like. It even felt like it was more. But now, yeah, it's a lot rare. Other than I guess the marijuana, people there's a lot of people out there smoking marijuana, I guess. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people doing it anymore. Even Vic here, right here, happy 4 years, Kansas. When Vic first started this channel, Vic was a smoker, but then Vic went and quit. I'm hoping you're still on the in the no smoking crew, but yeah, Vic had quit for sure. Nightbot, what's your problem? Oh, the Nightbot for some reason seems to think you spammed, Vic. I don't think you spammed. Nightbot, take a chill pill. Paul says Pine doesn't have Helix yet. Okay, fair enough. So, okay, so $20. Okay, I wasn't that far off then. There we go. Amrit, I noticed my REIT ZRE has taken a pretty sharp dip down. I wonder why. It's interesting too, because REITs love rate cuts. That's one of the things that they definitely love. So I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you exactly why they dropped, but it's something. It'll be interesting. I'll be watching. We'll be watching REITs for the next little while. As you guys know, I've got a significant investment into RMAX, and I do love RMAX. Now they hold 50% Canadian and 50% US REITs. Larry says, "What's the link for the chat thing or way to DM you for the final piece?" What's the link for the chat thing? Oh, the chat thing. Larry, you can DM me if you want to go on to, I don't know if you have X. You can DM me on X, Candace Mountain. Simple as that. Actually, I think I'll put the thing in here. Yeah, I mean, feel free to DM me there. You can also, if you're on the Discord, you can DM me there. Whoops. Oh, my caps lock is on. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Or, I mean, if one of you guys, if you want to reach out to me directly, email just simply admin@mountainfinance.ca. That gets to me as well. Cowboy says we had candy smokes when we kids. Yeah, they used to have those little Popeye ones. I remember that. Discord, the Discord. Oh, I can give you the Discord. Discord. There we go. Yeah. Anytime, guys, if you ever need like a Discord or Wealthsimple link, just type in exclamation mark and what it is, and it will. The Nightbot will actually be good and give you that. Not always. It's not always good, but in this case, yeah. So Vix is still a quitter using the smoke money on stocks. Wonderful. Popeye candy cigs. That's how I started. Uh-oh. Candy cigs are yummy. Licorice pipes. Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan of like, I don't mind red licorice, but black licorice, oh boy, I really don't like it. What can I say? Let's see. I was about to sell ZRE to put into RMAX, but because of the dip, going to just sit back and watch it to improve before I sell. Okay, fair enough. Rich with Rich. I bought ZRE 5 years ago. First ETF I bought at all-time high, and I'm still under my average. Oh my gosh. I want to get out of it and put it into more cover call ETFs. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Like I like BMO. I like a lot of their ETFs, but I've never been a huge fan of ZRE. That's just one of the ones that I've just never liked that much. Paul, anyone watch YouTube Value Investing with Sven Carlin? He recently did reviews on a bunch of Canadian stocks. He called Brookfield financial trickery. I can't remember the exact word he used. Oh, interesting. I've never heard of Sven Carlin, but sounds interesting. Yeah, said he wouldn't touch Dollarama too. Would you buy next month or hold out for the Christmas crash? That's a good question. It depends. I actually think it's kind of sector specific as well. We're gonna get. It's kind of that thing. Like I do think we will eventually get a crash, probably sooner than later. But I think we're going to be fine for the rest of the year. Like I think if we get a crash, it'll be early 2026. So would I hold out? I would probably look at, right now I will park things. For me, I'll park things into a swing trade. That's what I will do. Just because, I kind of get a good feel for the way things are going to move, and that's kind of, I think, what I would do at this point. Or, dollar cost averaging is still not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. People do make a lot of money. Jay says, I neglected my Questrade account, still waiting for fractional shares for the TSX side. Questrade. Let's see. Sven said Tesla is good until it isn't. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, you gotta love autocorrect. Autocorrect can sometimes be really, really fun. Chat, Elon talks too much with little actions. Where is self-driving or robots? They're coming, but slowly. Let's see, Cowboy, tax loss time. Oh, yes. Well, there is, yeah, and that's the thing. So, guys, one of the things that will happen is at least the first half of December, usually you'll see the market go into the red because of tax loss harvesting. Yeah, you're perfectly right on that. I just don't know I think, though, there's going to be a bigger dip when we finally get to a market correction. And that's kind of where I was thinking. I wasn't really thinking of the tax loss harvesting part, but yeah, that is a good opportunity. Like in that first couple of weeks of December, you'll see some things retract. You might find a few deals. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Amrit, I wonder when those Kuzma negotiations start. That'll be interesting. Yeah. So, well, the actual Kuzma itself needs to be renegotiated in July, but I imagine from now until July, we're going to hear about it over and over again. And I imagine Donald Trump will use it as as just little ways to say send some snide remarks at Canada for sure. Paul says Popeye smokes Mike and Ike candy was a big thing in the 70s. Pushed $30 in Saskatchewan. Oh, that's crazy. um, disconnected again. This is new. Yeah, I don't know what's happening to you, my friend. I don't know. All right, guys. So I think we're at the end. We're at the end. There won't be I didn't give you guys an option for Friday because Friday's Halloween. I'm going to be handing out candy. So Friday, I got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a pretty busy day. But we will be back here on Sunday with the new version of this week. The new version of this week. Because in case you guys haven't heard, I tried the news. I tried putting it into a monologue. It was not working. It was awkward. I kind of was left with a couple of choices. One is just pre-record that part, and then I could edit it, fix it all up. That'd be fantastic. But at the same time, it wouldn't be live. And I kind of like that to be a live show. So we're just getting rid of the news part. We'll still talk about the news, but just it's going to be all very informal. So I'll be able to get to you guys right away. And I also kind of like the idea of it being able to answer your questions immediately instead of you having to wait for me to, blah 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 through the through the news for 10 minutes. So we're gonna look at it. I want to try to figure out some ways. I kind of want to totally. I don't want to say totally reinvent, but I want to reinvent it a little bit before we get to the new year. So we'll play around a little bit. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Anyway, tune in on a Sunday for that, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Cowboy says Dougie spent $75 million to piss off Trump. Pretty much. Doug should have spent that on food banks. Such a waste. Yeah, well, and people are using food banks more than ever for sure. Hopefully you guys do not have to use the food bank because you guys are making really good investment choices. So we will be back again on Sunday. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your day and have a fantastic night and happy Halloween. And let's hope the Jays win. Let's hope the Jays have that World Series sooner than later. All right. Until then, guys, take care and